so much for joining me today. In this video, I wanted to share a personal success story about how I got my man to behave in a certain way. I know a lot of people talk about manifesting a specific person. I already have my specific person, and I really was mostly satisfied in our relationship. However, there were a couple things that I wanted to feel in a relationship, and I really wanted to be able to take the relationship to another level. So, quick backstory. We are in a very committed relationship. Both of us are previously divorced, and so getting married, living together, and things of that nature is not something that either of us were interested in. Although we were both very happy and romantically involved and just really enjoying our relationship. So it occurred to me, I began to have these desires to want to not live in separate houses, because we both have two nice homes that we maintain, and it's a lot of work. And I wanted to have the support of a man in my home. And so when I talked to him about it, it wasn't something that he was interested in. And, he thought our relationship was perfect. So long story short, we kind of had some conversations about that, took the relationship in a different direction, and then we just kind of stopped talking about it. So I really began to focus on other areas of my life and not really worry too much about it. And then the thought began to occur to me again that no, what I want is I want to be a wife. I want to be married. I want to be in love where my man is taking care of me. I want to feel pampered and cherished. And I do feel loved and adored, but I want my man to provide for me. And so I talked with him a little bit about it, but here's how I manifested the entire process. First, I got very, very clear about what else I wanted in a relationship, and I wrote it down because, as I said, I was very satisfied. We both were very happy and very satisfied in our relationship, but there was something else that I wanted, and so I had to get really clear about it. What I wanted was to be supported financially. I wanted assistance with a home. Taking care of a home is a big responsibility. I wanted to have someone with me, in the evenings and not just weekends and trips and things like that. I really wanted to be able to have a support system of my man at home with me, which is interesting for me to say because for so long I've just been very happy with having my personal space, and so my needs changed. And like I said, when I shared this with him, he was just a little bit caught off guard and not totally interested in that. So my needs changed. I had to ask myself, what do I want? I wrote down what I wanted and what I wanted to feel in the relationship. And so I revisited the conversation with him again. And he told me what his concerns were, it is a big step. And, he had 3 areas of concerns, from one, being able to manage my kids. Like, how are they even going to react to me seeing me every day? Are they going to want to be with me every day? And what if I have to parent them or reprimand them? I don't want that to get uncomfortable. And, what about our finances? What if the marriage doesn't work? And so he had 3 very legitimate concerns. And so at that point, I just kind of listened to him, and then I let that go. And then we proceeded to continue to go about our relationship and our day-to-day life. And then I really began to think, okay, well, what do I want? And I wanted to have support. I wanted to be taken care of. I wanted to make sure that I had someone that's going to be by my side long term, and really just have that long-term commitment, honestly. So after talking about it with him, we kind of left the conversation very open-ended. It wasn't really something that I thought that he was going to budge on because he had 3 strong areas of concern. And so I just let it go. I didn't force any issue, but the feelings still continue to come up in my life that I felt that I really wanted to be the kind of woman that had a beautiful ring on her finger, and that her man is taking care of her financially. I don't know, for some reason I just had that desire. I make my own money and I've always been a very independent person, but I wanted to know that someone would be there to catch me if I fall, and even on a financial level. And so that's what I desired. So I really began to go within, talking to myself, having some inner conversations, and I decided that I'm going to give these feelings to myself. I'm not sure if this relationship is going to transpire into that. I didn't see these desires of mine ever going away. I want to feel that. I want to be supported, and I want a long-term commitment. So in my imaginal act, I began to just kind of quiet my mind. It wasn't necessarily an act, but I did see myself living in the house of my dreams and my man coming home with fresh groceries from Whole Foods and feeling pampered and feeling like I'm taken care of and I don't have to worry about anything financially, feeling that I have the support that I need as I'm building my business, and I had that person to talk to whenever my kids are driving me crazy with their silly stuff. And so I began to give myself this feeling of pure satisfaction that I am already taken care of. I'm already loved. I'm already nurtured. I began to value the things that my relationship already brought me. And then I began to see myself. When I look in the mirror, I would tell myself how beautiful I was and how wonderful I am and how worthy I am and how I live a wonderful life and I always have everything I need. And so these were just practices that I had over time that were already in place, and things that I kind of added more of the romance thing. I always look in the mirror in the morning and tell myself that I'm just fabulous and that life is great and that today's an awesome day. And I even give myself a high five and tell myself I'm doing a great job. Then about 2 weeks ago, maybe even just a week ago, I was talking with my man about something that he was dealing with in his life, and I told him how to use his inner conversations to fix it. And I was like, all you really got to do is go in your imagination and see things the way you want them to be and then let them go. And then later on that evening, he said to me, Koren, well, I want to talk to you about what else is in my imagination. And I said, okay, well, what are we imagining? This sounds cool. He said, well, in my imagination, I buy you that house that you want. And in my imagination, I make you my wife. And in my imagination, we live happily ever after. And, those weren't all his exact words, but he basically said to me that in his imagination, we buy our home together, and we wrote out our list, and he said, now we got to write this down. What is it that we want? We're looking at a 6 to 9 month plan here. All right, we need a house, and it needs to have a pool, and it has to be in this area. I have a very specific neighborhood that I want to live in, and he knows it. And I'm like, hey, if I buy another house, it's going to be in this neighborhood, because I just always loved that neighborhood, and most of the houses there have in-ground pools, and I've always wanted one. So that's what we're doing. So out of the blue, I hadn't broached the subject with him at all over probably 2 weeks prior to us sitting down. But when we were together that weekend, everything that was in my inner conversation, he brought up, he put down, and he wanted me to write it out on a bulleted list of what else, and it's just so interesting because when he brought the conversation up, I had already let it go, and I already said, well, if this is not the person that is for me, then I already know that whomever is going to be the one that's going to be taking care of me and covering my expenses and pampering me and marrying me, they're already out there, and the timing will work out. Just so happened that he decided that this is what he wants now. So is it a coincidence? I don't think so. I know I got very clear about what I wanted. I talked with him about it. Wasn't something he wanted. I didn't fight with him. I let it go. And then I allowed myself to live in the end and give myself the feelings of pure satisfaction of being loved, of being cherished, of being taken care of being provided for. And then we discussed a little bit of finances, because one of the things that I want in my relationship is to have someone that assists me with my personal finances, because if you're living by yourself, it's all you, which is fine. But when you are in a relationship or living with someone, you guys are supporting each other, and it's a two-way street. So then he wrote me a check and said, here you go, babes. This is going to help you with your mortgage, your car for the next 6 months. So that's how I manifested it. I can't say that it came out of the blue. It did not come out of the blue entirely. I knew exactly what I wanted. I was already in a great relationship. I'm in a wonderful relationship. However, we had a separation of, we had a separation period, but then he also had a separation of ideas of, okay, this is what you want, this is what I want. It's two different things. So, but then I also just let the whole process go, and I satisfied the feeling that I wanted within myself. And I was so satisfied to the point where I didn't even want it anymore. I was just like, okay, I'm going to continue to live my life, build my company, because things are going really well. And I'm going to continue to do my own thing, because everything always works out for me anyway. So that's how I manifested my specific person. Let me know if you've ever had any experience like this, where people just flip the script and turn and say exactly what you have them say. And don't forget to hit the like button, because this helps the YouTube algorithm. It helps other people see my channel, see my videos that might not have saw them. So don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell notification, and leave a comment below. Thank you. Bye-bye.